Hi, I'm Allison Craig. I'm a front-end engineer at Slack. At Slack, our mission is to make people's working lives simpler, more pleasant, and more productive. Our apps and our platforms are a big way for us to make this happen. We live in the golden age of software, and we have a host of top-notch products right at our fingertips, ready to make us more powerful and productive in our everyday workplace. But the problem is not all these products work well together. And this is where the Slack platform and our Active Directory unifies all the tools that you need for work. And because we know just a tiny fraction of productivity in your workday makes a really big difference, we think it's really important to make these apps the best ones possible. So I'm going to walk you through first some of the components of our apps and integrations. Notifications are one of the most easy apps and integrations to make. They basically send information into your Slack instance. This is an example of a Google Calendar integration into Slack that can alert you of different calendar events, and you don't have to switch into your calendar to see it. So notifications are one of the most simple integrations to make. Slack provides you a webhook, and you call that webhook whenever you want to send a notification into Slack. So it's a one-way street. So I'm going to show you a notification. So Digbot is a really good example of what makes a good notification. It is a bot interface. You can interact with it a little bit, but what it really excels at is sending news notifications into your Slack instance. What I think makes Digbot a really good app is their use of emoji as a way of helping users scan information in their apps easily without having to dig into what is in the app. You can see by emoji or images generally what's happening in the app. And if you want to look closer, you can. So next we have slash commands. Slash commands kind of create a terminal-like instance into your Slack. So you'll type slash whatever the keyword is, and the slash command takes care of information and sends notifications back into Slack with the information you want. That was a Foursquare one that you can download in our app directory, and we were asking for a place to have lunch in Miami, so Foursquare sends us back a notification of places to eat in Miami. Foursquare is a really great example of good branding, sending in notifications with their Foursquare slash command. All the information is clear to see and uses the colors of their app, so you can scan over information and see what is the Foursquare app. So slash commands are a little more complex. You provide Slack with a webhook, and Slack calls that webhook whenever someone invokes the slash command. And then you respond to that webhook with a response to the slash command. So it's basically a call and response. And I'll show you a slash command. So I've added to do onto this channel. And to do sends you notifications back via the bot, but you don't interact with the bot at all. You only interact with the slash command. What to do does really well is this help list. It tells you all the different things that you can do in this app and gives you all the information you need to figure out how to onboard onto using it. So bot users are by far our most popular kind of integration. It has a bot on your Slack team as if it was a user. You can interact with it in very different ways. You can have it look for keywords sent in channels, or you can have it interact directly with you in direct messages. So the bots are by far the more complex type of app and integration we have. You call our web API to initiate the connection via RTM start, real-time messaging, and the API responds with the WebSocket URL. You then connect the message servers with that URL, and it opens a bidirectional persistent communication channel for receiving events and sending messages. So what is the difference between apps and integration? You hear these words thrown around, and you're not quite sure what means what. So integrations are basically what you can make to put in your personal Slack teams. They can be very specific to what your team needs, or they can be more general is what they do. What apps are the same sort of apps, but built for our app directory, where you can actually have other users and other teams use your app. So those are parts of apps and integrations, and what makes good apps and integrations. Honestly, it all comes back to our mission to make people's working lives simpler, more pleasant, and productive. So let's start with simple. Use thoughtful/command names. If your app or group has a really fun name that doesn't really necessarily tell you what your app does and you're not as widely known, it might be harder for users to remember that that's what your app is doing or to remember to use your app. So To-Do is a great example of this because To-Do does exactly what it says. It's a to-do list app. Have a concise install page. When you have an app in our app directory, when users click to install the app, it's going to bring them back to your page. And you have a lot of control over how your users onboard to your app or integration. So having things like tutorials, GIFs that show how people could interact with your app, and images that give the user a lot better of an idea of what's actually going on can be really helpful to convince that user to install your app from that page. To-Do has a really great install page. This is a GIF that is not working, unfortunately, but it shows you GIFs underneath that show users interacting with the app and shows you how you can use the app more fully. It also gives you a list of commands in case you don't know the full extent of what the app can do. So digest and don't spam. What this means is if you have a piece of information that you can just tell one user, don't post it in a channel and don't DM everyone. This is really important to not annoy your users. Some people don't like to have integrations at every step or don't want to have an app that listens to every single word you say and try to respond with keywords. So it's very important that you message the appropriate people and make sure that you're only messaging people that you have to. The next step is pleasant. Consider the use of emojis. Emojis are fun, and they're great, but the most importantly, they can convey a lot of information that you don't have to read. You can scan information and not have to rely on words, or necessarily have your users speak the same language as you if you can convey the same information with images. This would be really great in a weather app that uses some built-in emojis in Slack for all the types of weather. You can ask for weather in a zip code, and it'll respond with an image. That would be great because you wouldn't have to worry about translating that into different languages. It could just be like a visual representation of what you mean. This is also great if you have really, really long notifications to have your users be able to scan through and find the pieces that they actually want. If you're like a news app and you send out a digest every day of all the different type of news that happens or different categories of news, having an emoji that is consistent that helps your users understand what is going on in your very long notification can be really helpful for them to find the information that they want and skip the stuff they don't. And if you need help figuring out what type of emojis to use, there's EmojiBot. You give EmojiBot a keyword, and EmojiBot will tell you a bunch of keywords that kind of match that word. And if you're looking for emojis to use, this can be really, really helpful. I'm not sure how hot peppers have to do with news, but I'm sure there's an algorithm behind it. Use menu and help keywords. The bot that I'm going to show you in a little bit will take in your message and then look for keywords. Having a way to help and provide a menu to your users can be really helpful for them if they don't remember what they're supposed to type, especially if you have a long list of commands. To do the / command has a long list of things that you can do with that app. So it's a lot more helpful to be able to ask the bot every time you forget instead of having to remember or look at the bot's install page. Address users by name, but not in a creepy way. You can collect information from the users and use that to make it a more pleasant experience for your users, but if you respond to every single thing that you say with their first name, it might kind of creep them out and give them a little robot overlord moment. So use sparingly, but it definitely gives a more pleasant, human-ish feel to your bot. And last, we have productive. Do one good thing and do it well. Having bots for everything you do might be annoying. Having one bot for payroll and one bot for asking for time off. Having a bot that has one concise use is better than having one bot that does a lot of things kind of okay. Use the right tool for the job. Most people want to use bots because it's a fun keyword and it looks impressive, but some things are much better used with / commands or with just notifications. To-do app is a great example of just great with a / command. All you need is a / command and some notifications back, and your app is perfectly usable. Think about thoughtful user onboarding. You can have your app send a message as soon as the user adds you to a channel, or if the user adds you to direct messages you, to help the user understand what your app is about. And this can be great to just say like, hey, this is the bot, this is what I do, and click help if you want more. Throwing too much information at your users can cause a little bit of overload, so it's best to let the users seek out the information that they want to find. So we're gonna make a little bot. Meet Body McBotface. She's gonna be a very, very simple bot, but I'm gonna be walking you through some of the Python RTM bot that we have on our public repo at Slack HQ. So you can go to this and clone from there, and it's pretty simple. So the Python RTM bot uses callbacks, and I believe it's similar to our regular API calls. So if you're familiar with that, this shouldn't be too bad. It responds to events via the RTM WebSocket, and you define methods as process underscore with the API method. And I'm going to show you what's up. Oh. Cool. So all of the stuff I have commented out is not what you have. So when you have, sorry, all of the stuff that is not commented out comes with the repeat plugin if you clone it directly from us. All the stuff I have commented out is stuff that I'm going to show you today. So we're going to start by just checking to see on the data object what channel we are in. If a channel starts with a D, it is always a direct message. And then we're going to append to the output the channel number and then the message we want to send back. So basically we're saying from repeating the text that the user is sending to us, and then we're going to say the channel number. So we do this by running Python RTM bot py, which I think is actually still running. And we can go say hi to Body McBotface. So this is a very simple plugin, but it gives you a lot of information. It shows you that you can see what the channel is, and we have this data object that we can explore a little more. So down here, we're going to catch the data, and we're going to print it out, and we're going to be able to look at that and find out more things that we can use to interact with the bot. So as you see, a bunch of stuff is coming in, is being printed. It's going to keep looking for events until an event happens, which is what you see under here with Pong. It keeps looking and saying, hey, is anything happening? Is anything happening? And no, it's not. So when we send it a message, you can see it detects when the user is typing, and then it can also detect what I am saying. So it says text hello, and it has some channel information and user information that you can use to really customize what your bot does. So we can go deeper into parsing what that text says and give more useful information to the user. And I'm going to comment it out that repeat, because it would get quite annoying. So we fire up the Python RTM bot again. It notices a bunch of stuff that's happening. We can say, hello. And it says, hello right back. I am Body McBotface. Oops. So what we're doing is parsing the text. We're trying to find hello in it, and then we're appending to the data. So you can find a lot of things in here. You can look for keywords. You can look for keywords with a combination of that and question marks and find out if the user is asking you questions. And you can also respond to emojis, because as you haven't noticed, I like emojis. You respond, or you look for the Slack notation of the emoji. So this is going to look for ta-da, and it is just typed out as you would type it into the Slack message. So we're going to type in ta-da. Oops, no explanation. And it responds as congrats, which is great. It can respond to custom emoji as well, but only custom emoji that you have on your team. So if you're making a custom integration that is specifically for your team, you can use emojis as a way to set specific keywords that your bot can understand and make sense depending on what the application is with your team. It's always helpful if you're having a bot in a direct message only, because if this is in a channel, it might be a little annoying. But if you're in a direct message, having your bot respond if there's no recognizable words can be really great for your users to know that they're not actually hitting a keyword instead of the bot not working. We're going to fire that up. So we can type in a bunch of random stuff, and it doesn't understand. But we type things it understands, and it works. Yeah. So this is a very, very simple bot, and it doesn't do that many things, because what it is basically here to do is show you the lower boundaries of what bots can do for your team. So if you are interested in hearing more bot talk, Don and Matt are going to be up next, and they're going to show you how to integrate Twilio into your bot as well. So thank you.